On February 9th, 1992, the Orlando Arena hosted a total blowout. By the fourth quarter, the Western Conference All-Stars had built a lead that would eventually reach a record-breaking 40 points. With under 20 seconds left, Magic Johnson pulls up from behind the arc and releases a high, contested shot that swishes through the net. 14.5 seconds remain on the game clock, but the Eastern Conference refuses to inbound the ball. They simply stop. Michael Jordan, Magic's fiercest rivals, ignore the whistle and walk across the court. They aren't looking for a rebound, they're looking for a hug. The game ended right there because the players, and the world watching them, needed to reconcile the athlete they were seeing with the diagnosis that had shocked the globe only 3 months earlier. Throughout the 1980s, Magic Johnson was the physical standard for the league. He collected 5 championships and 3 MVPs, appearing untouchable at his peak. That image changed on November 7, 1991. Johnson called an emergency press conference to announce his immediate retirement. The sheer volume of reporters reflects the weight of the news. This global bulletin moved through the public in hours. Magic informed the world that he had tested positive for HIV. The transition was jarring. The public's perception of Magic shifted from a dominant athlete to a person living with a virus that at the time carried a heavy social stigma and no clear path to survival. In 1991, HIV was perceived as a rapid, unavoidable death sentence. The public lived in high anxiety regarding how the virus was actually transmitted. Inside the NBA, that fear was specific. Players worried that physical contact and the sweat or blood inherent in a high-stakes game posed a direct threat to their own health. Karl Malone became the public face of this concern, openly questioning the safety of playing with an HIV-positive player. Despite objections from within the league, the fans rebelled. They ignored the medical controversy and voted the retired Johnson into the All-Star game as starter. By walking onto the court in Orlando, Magic wasn't just playing a game. He was physically challenging the world's fear of his condition. Magic's performance that night served as a live rebuttal to the idea that he was a dying man. This chart compares Johnson's output against the averages of every elite player on the floor. He put up 25 points and 9 assists. Those stats weren't just high, they were the best of the night, proving he was the most effective player in the arena. By dominating the East, he replaced the fear of his diagnosis with the reality of his talent. His peers realized they were guarding a legend, not a patient. That final 14-second standstill allowed for a visual that medical pamphlets couldn't provide. The world watched the league's most famous stars embrace a man they had been told was dangerous to touch. Magic walked away with the game's MVP trophy, a validation of his physical resilience. He spent the following months in Barcelona as a co-captain of the Dream Team, eventually securing an Olympic gold medal. Magic's continued health and activism over the next 30 years changed the public's understanding of HIV from an automatic tragedy into a manageable medical condition. We usually remember sports for the buzzer beaters and the final scores, but in 1992, the most important moment happened because the players chose to let the clock run out.